Chairman Appropriations Committee, Chairman of other committees, honorable members, Honorable Minister of Defense, the DGDSs, National Commissioners of the Commission, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by making an important clarification that the 18 billion in the supplementary appropriation is not all for the conduct of elections. Actually, the substantial part of it is about personnel costs. You recall that in April this year, there was a 40% increase in peculiar allowance to public servants across the country. It was not provided for in our budget for 2023, which is this year, the current budget, because the budget was passed in December last year, so we couldn't have made provision. At the same time also, there was another circular from government dated February where the DTA, the duty to allowance, and other consequential allowances were increased by government. There was no provision in our statutory budget. And we have one of the largest workforces in the country, over 15,600 staff, and it's not easy to find the money to pay in the absence of supplementary appropriation. So we made a case to government and we have been included in this supplementary appropriation. So for the component dealing with the 40% peculiar allowance, for the 16,614 staff of INEC, we will require 10.6 billion, and we have made provision for the 10.6 billion. Our annual salary is 26.5, 40% of 26.5 is 10.6. So we have made provision for that. And because of the experience we had that there was no cash backing for us to implement these provisions, we also started thinking ahead. Already there is an award by government of 35,000 naira for each public servant across the board. For the 15,614 staff of the commission, that will come to, for the 6 months that government said arrears will be paid, over 3 billion. So the 3 billion plus 10.6 billion will come to 13.8 billion. We have made provision for that. And as I said, we also made provision for the duty to allowance. Now concerning electoral, actually we have two challenges. The first one is the budget for the 2023 general election was appropriated by the National Assembly in 2022. We knew that there may be no budget in 2023 to take care of other elections or electoral activities. Therefore, we made provision in the 2022 election budget to capture not just the 2023 general election, but also 5 off-cycle governorship elections. Ekiti and Oshun held last year, and we made provision for Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi governorship elections. So the 300 plus billion that people have been talking about as election budget was not only meant for the general election, but also included 5 off-cycle governorship elections. However, since the budget was passed in 2022, some parameters have changed. For instance, the figures for the cost implication on PMS has changed from the 197 naira per litre to over 600 now. So we need augmentation. So part of the 18 billion is going to augment the conduct of elections in these 3 states. Already service providers are putting us under pressure. Many of them have actually doubled the cost from the amount we presented as our budget in 2022. So I've earmarked the sum of 1.4 billion for augmentation. But the last component for the conduct of election is related to what many honorable members have asked us. In the House of Representatives, vacancies have been declared. Why has INEC not conducted by-elections? There is no budgetary provision for the conduct of these unforeseen and unbudgeted by-elections. Honorable Chairman, honorable members, not many people in Nigeria will believe that within 4 months after the inauguration of the National and State Assemblies, 11 vacancies have occurred. 11 by-elections in 4 months. Unfortunately, the majority coming from the House of Representatives. There are 5 vacancies in the House of Representatives. 2 caused by death, and 3 caused by resignation of honorable members. We have vacancies in 4 state constituencies across the country, and we have vacancies in 2 senatorial districts. And each time we conduct 3 senatorial by-elections, it's like conducting a governorship election, because each state in Nigeria has only 3 senatorial districts. So we have to make provision for the conduct of by-elections in 11 constituencies, 5 federal constituencies, 4 state constituencies, and 2 senatorial districts. And for that, we have made a provision for 1.6 billion. So this is, in summary, our breakdown for the 18 billion.
The supplementary budget submitted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu requesting the allocation of over 7.3 billion naira for the procurement of cars for the presidential villa, as well as an additional 13.5 billion naira for renovations, continues to generate reactions. A further breakdown of the 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget submitted to the National Assembly on Monday revealed that the federal government earmarked 12.7 billion naira for the presidential air fleet and intends to spend 5 billion naira for the purchase of a presidential yacht. The proposed sum is under the capital expenditure of the Nigerian Navy's budget. Additionally, the Navy will require 62.8 billion naira for its operations. The government, however, earmarked a total of 5.5 billion naira for the Education Loan Fund under the Student Loan Act, eliciting outrage among many Nigerians. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Kanu, who wrote, "Nigeria has a spending problem, not a revenue problem. Cars for First Lady, 1.5 billion. Student loans, 5 billion naira. I mean, the cars for the office of the First Lady are 30% of the student loan allocation for all students across Nigeria that qualify. Explain this to me, please." Well, another Twitter user there goes, "Presidential yacht belongs to Nigerian Navy, not Tinubu." 2. The history of the procurement and approval started before Buhari. 3. A budgetary proposal by Nigerian Navy can be approved or rejected by the National Assembly. 4. Nigerian Navy proposed 3.3 billion naira to buy presidential yacht during past federal government, not JEJ. 5. Newspaper headlines to sell business. 6. Budgetary approval is not the same as cash release. Well, another Twitter user there goes, "The presidential fleet already received a 13 billion naira allocation in the 2023 approved budget. Now, another 12 billion naira allocation in the proposed supplementary budget. Why? The Office of the National Security Advisor also received 73 billion allocation in the 2023 budget. Now, another 29 billion. Well, Dr. Abati, I feel like all I'm saying is billion, billion, billion. But I know that, historically, these budgets always elicit reactions by many Nigerians. This presidential fleet budget, I believe, from the past administration, we've spent about 73.3 billion naira on presidential fleet alone. I mean, a lot of questions here. People are asking, where is the money going to come from? Where is this money going to come from? Today, I see on this day, on the cover from the ministerial retreat, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu seek National Assembly nod to borrow another $7.8 billion and another 100 million euros from external loans. Where is the money going to come from, Dr. Abati?
Okay, the president yesterday was saying that, borrowing is not a crime. Mm-hmm. And earlier on this program today, I said, yes, while borrowing is not a crime, Nigerians are concerned about the quantum and the fact that in Nigeria we borrow for consumption, not for production. And that the appropriate emphasis should be on production rather than consumption. Okay? So the argument that borrowing is not a crime, yes, the ordinary man will consider it a crime. If the money that is borrowed, if the money that the government is asking for in the supplementary budget is going to be used to buy new vehicles of over 2 billion, to buy a yacht of 5 billion, to buy vehicles for the First Lady's office for 1.5 billion, And I think that the National Assembly has a responsibility to make sure that they look at these proposals from the presidency with a fine-tooth comb, in line with the expectations of Nigerians. Nigerians are being asked every day to make sacrifice. The people in government should also make their own sacrifice. Now, on the question of the yacht, I've seen a comment somewhere saying that, in fact, that the Nigerian Navy used to have a yacht. Well, a yacht, in ordinary understanding, is a luxury jet for pleasure, for pleasure trips. Is, yes. Yeah, but you know what I was told is that there was a particular yacht that the Navy had called NNS Amaria. Look at that name, they even give it. NNS Amaria. And that particular yacht was seized from a former governor. And then the Nigerian Navy converted it for training purposes, you know, and also for ceremonial purposes. But that particular yacht was decommissioned in 2011. Now, what we do not know is whether or not the Nigerian government had ordered for another yacht. But, you know, in the thinking of the ordinary man, they would think that this should be a period for austerity on the part of our government officials. And, well, the only yacht that I have boarded is that of Femi Otedola, the billionaire. And, you know, it was luxury that I saw around, you know, for the few minutes that I was inside on board, you know. But the truth of the matter is that when Nigerians hear yacht, they think of luxury. So if there is any background information, because it's even possible that the yacht they are talking about has been ordered. And they say it's the Nigerian Navy that is going to use it.
No, Dr. Bati.
So they need to give us information.
Have you not seen the request of the
5 billion.
It is there.
Yes,
in that,
for the yacht.
So if you're asking for 5 billion, it's not a yacht that has already been ordered.
They have a lot of explanations.
Okay, exactly. Because
and Nigerians are saying, we don't need a yacht. Yes. Can we cut our costs, downsize, and be sensitive to the people's feelings?
I'll take more reactions because there's a lot. This is from Brother Bath, who wrote, Tinubu's presidential yacht, luxury in penury. 133 million Nigerians live in multi-dimensional poverty. 20 million Nigerian children of school age are unable to attend school due to poverty, while 37% of Nigeria's children are malnourished, exposing them to retarded development. 2. Inflation in Nigeria is at all-time high of 26.72%. The country's total debt stands at 87 trillion naira, and its debt service to revenue ratio is a whopping 73.5%. Since removal of fuel subsidy and plummeting naira value, most Nigerians go to bed hungry. Businesses are closing down, while job loss is on the increase. 4. Amidst this harsh economy, pains and penury, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to procure a presidential luxury yacht. 5. Can someone justify this for me again, please? A lot of questions. Then let me take Okweoluwa, who wrote, and this is something that I want to discuss. The USA used to have a presidential yacht called USS Sequoia. The Sequoia is a yacht that served 8 US presidents, the last being Herbert Hoover. Jimmy Carter became president when the USA economy had just exited a recession and was battling inflation and unemployment. Jimmy Carter, setting a cost-cutting example, ordered the presidential yacht sold in 1977. Till date, the USA, a $33 trillion economy, does not have a presidential yacht. Nigeria is in the same situation as USA in 1977. Rather than cut costs, our public office holders have gone on a spending spree with reckless abandon, as though it's out of fashion. You ask Nigerians to endure pain. But what pain are you enduring? Whether it will be funded or not, why is a presidential yacht in the supplementary budget? Why the rush? I'd like to come to you, Ayo, on this story, but I also want to say that, like I said earlier, this has always elicited public outcry. Yes. Back in 2016, former President Buhari had said he was going to sell 2 presidential jets out of 10. Yes. We don't know if that has happened. I mean, but this is the point that I want to make.
Okay, so I'm really glad that you read Opeoluwa's tweet, because that was where I was going to come from the US and the Sequoia. There are many countries that actually have a presidential yacht. And let me put it out there, because it's under the Navy does not mean it is meant for combat or meant for security. It is actually, in fact, in the US, it used to be called the floating White House, and was given to the president and high-ranking officials in government to get away from public life, you know, a little luxury, so that even though it comes under the Navy's purview. So let's not get deceived by, oh, it's under the Navy's budget. It is still what is supposed to be a yacht. It's not meant to go to battle. It's not a weapon of warfare. It is not going to be used by the Navy. It's going to be used by the president, just in the way that we have the presidential fleet.
Now, the House of Representatives could pass the supplementary budget of 2.2 trillion naira on Thursday, but not without reservation, with the much talked about 5 billion naira that was earmarked for presidential yacht. Now, as netizens would say, there is absolutely no need for it. Besides, where is the water in Abuja? And now, how can you be cruising on taxpayers' money when they can barely afford a ride? And those were the concerns on social media. Now, the lawmakers agreed to that and then moved that 5 billion naira to up student loan. It was initially 5.5 billion naira. It is now 10 billion naira for qualified applicants. Now, they spoke with newsmen after the passage at National Assembly yesterday. So let's have them briefly and return for your own input.
Actually, as far as we are concerned, presidential anymore, we have increased the student loan. If you can recall, student loan was 5 billion naira in the budget. But now we have increased it from 5 to 10 billion so that our students can be able to access that facility in order for them to go to school and to be affordable for them. This is what we did actually. From now to 3 months, we are going to call them and ask them what they have done with that money we have been provided to them.
All right, let's have some reaction to this. Dr. Akin says, why student loan? Was the budget a yacht loan? They should make it a grant that students don't have to pay back. The 5 billion naira for the most indigent students as grant, financial aids, and the remaining 5 billion naira for less indigent ones as a loan. Since it wasn't a loan in the first place, that they were not loaning presidential yacht, so why did you bring it to student loan and you're calling it loan? Why are you lending it out? Then Ben Rula says, what happens to the wives' billions for cars? That one stays, Abi. Definitely it stays. It was not debated. Francis says, trader money never still reach traders' handle. Okay? But for another user, Clement, it says, every day is not for criticism. If they really did this, I appreciate them for doing the right thing. Yes, they did. So, well done, everyone on the team. So, some female students of Bayero University, Kanu State, have been captured in a rather scary video shared on TikTok where they were crying for help. This is as men in uniform that they identified as Hisba police broke into the rooms last night. While details of the night sting are still sketchy, the uniformed men were successful at their operation as no help came through for the ladies.
Wallahi, they want to help me. They are coming to our house. We are calling police. So help us, please. Help us. Help. 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 They are opening the door to enter inside our house. Help us. They are breaking our door. Help us, please. Please help us. Help. Please, I need glasses. I want to carry my wait. Wait. I want to carry my glasses. I use glasses. It's not what I'm doing. And look at what they're doing. I use glasses. Tell them then you carry my glasses.
Okay, come here. Come here.
I use glasses. Look at what they're doing.
I'm a student owner.
Show me your ID. Just in the room. In the room.
Okay, let's have some reactions here. Miriam says, to think I experienced this while staying around BUK last year during my NYSC. They slid my window, pointing their long sticks when I wasn't opening. Kept banging. To think I was half naked, I felt harassed. I am not condemning the purpose of Hijab, but the method they take to carry out their operations are very, very bad. Also in reaction, Mr. Agugwa says, na small, it is start. Before you know, they go begin carry gun because civil unrest for the states they operate in. And for this user, Muhammad, he says, I don't even understand the people in uniforms again. What is their job? Is it to protect or to scare off people? Because how can they put so much energy in harassing people rather than protecting? But Danjuma says, calm down, guys. I have stayed in Kanu and I understand how these people operate. The thing is that Hizbah won't come to your house if you haven't done anything wrong. For instance, smoking or girls going to boys' hostels at the middle of the night. They come to you after failing to adhere to their warning. So just calm down. As I said, the details of this is still sketchy. We don't have it yet. We do not know why this happened just last night. So we keep our fingers crossed, and we also hope that the school will respond so we can have a comprehensive feedback. Now, at this juncture, so please don't say junction at home. Let's go back to the event in Imo State that happened during the police senior officers retreats conference that happened there. I know I did not miss this story, but because tagging me to it will not stop, I finally brought it. So it's of a singer, Mercy Isoyib, who missed the lyrics of Nigeria's national anthem at the conference and retreat for senior police officers in Owerri, the state capital for Imo State. Now, the Nigeria Police Force was criticized because she was presumed to be one of them for rocking their uniform, but she is not. She has apologized for her error. So we do it this way. The national anthem first. As we go back to Monday, we'll come back to today to have your reactions and then her apology.
Shit.
Okay, let's have some reactions at this point. Chuk says, so the lady that recites national anthem at Imo State University is not a real police officer. The same Nigeria police that want to prosecute comedian Cute Abiola for using police uniform on his skits, maybe they want to use her beauty to deceive some people. So what happened to all the beautiful Nigerian police women that they had to hire this actress to pose as one? And he tagged the first police spokesperson, Prince Olumuyiwa, and then that of Lagos State to Ben Hundeyin. Now, let's go further. For Chris, it says it's not her fault. How many adults can recite the national anthem correctly? And also in our defense is Elena, who says maybe it's fear. Some people will be bold enough to criticize and they cannot also sing the lyrics correctly. If I hear Pim, what you could do? Okay, so here is our apology video. Let's have that now before we go over to our final story for the day.
Hello everybody, my name is Mercy Soy, aka That's Crucial. I'm an actress and an artist. I want to sincerely apologize to the Nigerian police force and citizens of this great nation, and also dignitaries that were present at the conference and retreat for senior police officers held on the 30th of October here in Imo State. I also want to apologize to my fans. I want to say I acknowledge and I understand the importance of the national anthem. And I am deeply sorry. I regret that I fell short in upholding the respect and reverence that it deserves.
Okay, so that's Mercy right there, the lady who sang the national anthem in Imo State for the senior police conference retreats in Imo. Now let's move away from that to say that a Ghanaian community church of Pentecost in South Africa this week was invaded by armed robbers who attacked the congregation at gunpoint when service was in session. According to Ghanaian online news mediums, one of the elders was whisked away by the robbers, leaving the children to a crying contest.
Good.